Hey everyone, I was led to make another video for additional June confirmations that I received, and I was feeling strongly about it last night, but it wasn't until this morning that I saw Brother Todd's latest video that it really brought some additional understanding to an old dream of mine as well. So it just really gave me a confirmation that I should make this. So his video is pointing to Sister Jamie's video about the very first vision she received about the peace treaty agreement. It was just a Masonic handshake, and she actually received this on June 11th. So that's what caught my attention, the June 11th, because a few months back, Sister Amanda Christian had put, so this is back in January actually of this year, had a dream about Shia LaBeouf. Shia is a branch of Islam, but also what I noticed about Shia LaBeouf is that his birthday is on June 11th. So that video caught my interest because it happened around the same time of a dream that I had. The night before her dream, I had this dream, and so I commented on that dream of hers. I had a dream I was walking around outside, came across a dark place where some men were gathered. I felt a bit of fear because it was dark and I thought it could be potentially dangerous. I somehow knew that the men around me were not happy. There was something missing in their lives. I just felt that. I went downstairs and realized the place was a prison, like a very ancient one. So it didn't look like a modern prison. It was like made of stone and stuff like that, like you would see an old museum type prison. I saw the actor that plays Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. His name is Peter Hayden Dinklage. And then I woke up. So that was just a very quick dream. And what I noticed when I Googled him, because I always go back and take a look at what, the names of the people that I see and their birthdays and things like that. He has the same birthday as Shia LaBeouf, who Amanda had just dreamt of the next day, or maybe the same night we both dreamt. I'm not sure exactly the timing. But so here is the guy that I dreamt. I just saw him in this prison, Peter, and there we go, June 11th. So same exact birthday as Shia LaBeouf. Okay. So I did some more digging around because this date kind of kept coming up. June 11, 1967 is the ceasefire date that ended the Israel Six-Day War when they finally recaptured Jerusalem, so that's significant. And the date format in Israel starts with the day first in the month, so June 11th is 11/6. Turn that upside down, you get 9/11. Peter, from the name of the actor that I saw, means rock. Hayden is heathen, and Dinklage is a place of assembly. So that made me think of the Dome of the Rock at the time in Jerusalem, given that, this June 11th also is significant in terms of history of Jerusalem. And, maybe something happening there. So I thought that was really interesting, pointing, to the 6/11, us having the dreams at the same day or just a couple days apart, and this vision also being received on June 11th. So we all know that the meeting with Kim Jong-un from North Korea is on the 12th, which will be June 11th in the United States, due to the time difference. So I also was led to this video by Bethlehem 1618, where she talks about one of her very first dreams of an attack on the 12th. And
so basically, my first dream was in 2015, and it was very short. And at that time, I had just started learning about the rapture of the church and catching away. So, and it was a dream of the number 12, and it said 12 attack, and I knew it was a date. and the numbers and the letters were in bright blood red. Okay, so I'm not saying an attack will happen on the 12th of any month on any calendar. I'm just saying I'm giving you the message as a warning. And the second dream I had was this past spring that confirms that first dream. Um, so the second dream was, it was in the evening. I was at home watching TV with my husband, and we were both staring at the TV. The TV was an old, like a 1980s TV, you know, where you turn the knob and the two antennas are sticking out. So it was one of those TVs, and basically it was daytime, and there was either a full moon or a big planet, but it was daytime. But the planet looked like the color of a full moon during the day, like the clouds, the color of the clouds in the bluish sky. And out of this full moon, large planet-looking thing, were two reporters. And this thing was floating in the sky, moving through the sky. And they both had mics in their hand, but one reporter, there was a man and a lady, and the lady said, "Everybody will be gone on the 12th." And me and my husband turned and just looked at each other.
So then I decided to go back. I remembered a dream that I had about something memorable on the 11th. So I decided to go back and see when I had this dream. And lo and behold, I actually mentioned that I had this dream on June 12th. Hi everyone, just wanted to share a dream that I had the night of June 12th. I was in a movie set with, on my right was seated Scarlett Johansson, the actress, and on my left was a very famous actor, just as famous as she was. Can't remember who it was, but it was a male actor. And so we were just kind of hanging out there, and this extra girl came up with her friend, and they were trying to be cool with us to make conversation. And we were talking, and we couldn't remember what movie I was in. But then I blurted out, "Oh, I played the role of Cinderella in some movie." I had no idea. And then the extra girl was trying to tell us about all of her small, extra roles that she played in different movies. And then the male actor that was sitting next to us, a famous one, he was a bit arrogant, and he said, "Well, you have to be in 11 films in order to be considered memorable." So that's the word he used, memorable, and 11 films. And then he and Scarlett Johansson left. And that was the end of the dream. So then I called my sister, and I was starting to discuss. I had called her maybe half an hour before we actually spoke, but she was out on a hike with her daughters. So she called me back, and we were talking, and as I was telling her, "Oh, look, I dreamt I had, all this stuff, and I just don't know what the number 11 means, 11 days, 11, what do you think it could mean?" And she said, "Oh, that's so funny. My daughter, her daughter's about 16, I think, had a dream last night as well, and she was in front of a 7-Eleven store. And so she was telling me about this dream that her daughter had, and then her daughter blurts out, 'Mom, it's 11-11.'" So it goes on. I just got a ton of confirmations on number 11 and 7-Eleven in this dream. I'll put a link if you want to see the full dream. So I found it really interesting. It's something that I actually didn't notice until today when I went back into the Strong's to search. And I found Strong's Hebrew 7-Eleven is actually Scarlett. And my dream that led me to the 7-Eleven had Scarlett Johansson, which is very, very interesting. So I hadn't seen this before, and I looked at where this Scarlett comes in, and it's all in Daniel 5, where he's going to get the reward of being clothed with scarlet. And so I took a look at what is Daniel 5, and it's actually talking about God's judgment on Babylon with the writing on the wall. So I'll have a look at this. is the story of the writing of the wall in chapter 5 in the book of Daniel. When he's having this great feast, um, using the vessels that had been looted in the destruction of the first temple, a hand appears and writes on the wall. This terrifies Belshazzar, and he calls the wise men who are unable to read the writing. So Daniel is brought in to help interpret the message. And the interpretation is God has numbered his days. He has been weighed and found wanting, and his kingdom will be given to the Medes and the Persians. Isn't that interesting? And this is an Iranian group here. So that makes me think back to Amanda's dream about Shia LaBeouf, and the Muslims in Iran are mostly Shia Muslims. So that was just very interesting to see today. Also because I'm sure a lot of you have seen Trump give this speech where he accidentally calls 9/11 7/11.
And it's very close to my heart because I was down there and I watch our police and our firemen down at 7-Eleven, down at the World Trade Center right after it came down.
And finally, I had also been led to the last 10 days of Ramadan, which we're currently in right now. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. That's when they're all fasting. So the most important part of that time is called the Night of Power, and different groups celebrate it in different days. So as you can see here, this occurs in the last 10 nights of Ramadan in the odd nights, so typically these days. And this year, the 27th of Ramadan occurs on June 11th. So there's that date again. Just keeps coming up.